Facebook page. This is bizarre.
Hi everyone. We'll wait for people to get on. Can you see me?
Yes. You might want to tilt. Can you tilt it up a little bit?
Yeah, let me tilt it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like cutting off the top of your head. Okay, where's the comment section now? I can't see any comments. Okay, there it is. Okay. Oh, too far. Now it's sideways.
I'm like, hey everyone, we're gonna be here in a second. I'm just trying to get this perfect. Hold on, let me grab a little.
There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Let me see. There we go. You can see the top of the mannequin head.
Oh, yeah.
You'll probably be able to see me. Yay! Hi everyone.
So how's the weather there, Dallan, today?
I'm looking out the window right now, and it is a little windy, a little cloudy. Yesterday, I told you, it was snowing in the sun, which was weird. But it looks warmer today than yesterday, so I'll probably go on a walk today with my puppy after this, and then maybe get Chick-fil-A.
Nice.
That's what I really want. I'm hungry.
So we've got some friends on. We've got Jazz,
Hi, Jazz.
Chrissy,
Chrissy and Amanda. Chris Black is watching. Hi, Chris. Lauren.
Hi, Debbie. Debbie joins us every day. I love that. All the way from the Netherlands.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Gian.
Hi, Gian. Little Jazz. You guys are going to want to stay tuned. We have an exciting announcement after this is all done.
I know. I can't wait for you to share that with them.
I know that's going to be amazing. It'll be fun.
Jazz wishes she had a Chick-fil-A.
Oh, I'll send
They
it.
don't have Chick-fil-A? Where you at, Jazz?
That does sound so good, though. Some breakfast. Chick-fil-A breakfast.
Hi, Barbie. Hi, Jazz. Hi, Jennifer Prey. Pamela from Alberta, Canada.
Ah, hello. I'm going to step out 1 second.
It's so funny that they can hear me. Isn't it funny?
I know. Well, you're right by the phone. You're right by the, like, the, whatchamacallit.
Hi, Amber.
Hi.
Oh, Eileen, that's why I don't live in Ohio anymore, girlfriend. It's snowing in Cleveland. Hi, Todd. You got 1 minute, buddy.
Awesome.
Oh, another friend from Netherlands. Jillian. Courtney says I'm always the voice in her head.
I love that.
Hi, Jessica Ronnie. We have a lot of Jessicas, don't we, Dallan?
We do. There's a lot of Jessicas.
I wonder if that should now be a requirement. Your name must be Jessica.
Jessica, and you must do, let's have a J in there somewhere. I don't have a J.
Yeah.
I'll make a J.
All right, you can get started, friend.
Awesome. Thanks, Jess. Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you today here in Salt Lake City in my living room. It's a little bit of different change of pace today, so I'm really excited to share with you. We have a special announcement, so stay tuned till the very end because you guys are not going to want to miss this. Me and Jessica are so excited to talk about it. I know that she had a meeting earlier with some of her people, and we were so excited to share that with you. But what I wanted to do today, I know that we had scheduled, some business stuff and have, how to build a clientele and with some social. But for me right now, I was just in a weird funk and I tried to figure some stuff out through a PowerPoint and I was like, how am I going to engage with people? And then I talked to Jess and I said, let's do this avant-garde stuff instead. I've been having some time to create and really find some of my passion again, which is really, really cool. So thank you, Jess, for allowing me to do this. I do have Jessica on the phone, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask those questions along the way, and I will definitely answer them. But I'm gonna show you guys some stuff that I have been creating with some stuff that I have here inside my house. So I got on a live last week with some of my friends, Keith Bryce, and some people that have been doing a lot of avant-garde stuff, and we wanted to share and create some stuff, and it was so fun and so creative. And when I posted these things after, a lot of you guys have asked, how did you create that and how did you do that? So I wanted to share that with you today, and also kind of just share you where my inspiration comes from sometimes. So this is really more just a living room chat, so please ask those questions along the way of what we're doing and how we're doing it, because again, at the end of the day, we're here for each other, and I really just want to help create and inspire and show you guys some cool things that you guys could be doing in your living room. So before I get started, I wanted to show you guys a few things. So I am been really inspired lately, and I've been painting and doing a lot of fun things inside the house. And there's an artist that is Kandinsky, and I was been really inspired by his work lately. And I'll show you a quick photo if you guys can see here on my iPad. There's a little bit of a glare, but you can see that how it is kind of color all over the place. And I was like, how can I create that and make that look like here? So my friend Keith Bryce asked me last week to do a challenge with him. And then I was like, man, this would be really cool to share with my Q people. So what I decided to do is create crayon work with color Kandinsky. So by melting it and creating some really cool pieces. So these are neon crayons. I just got these at the dollar store. Obviously you can get a bigger pack for, I think for like 48 crayons for $1. But this look right here is what I created, and this is all done through crayons. I decided to use neon because I do have a black light and I wanted to see what it looked like under a black light, and so that's what we created, was just some really cool kind of pops of color. So I wanted to start off with showing you how to create this first, and then how we can go into, creating shapes and playing around. So with that being said, the easiest way to do that is with these crayons. What you can do is when you take them out, obviously they have, their paper around them. What I've done in the past is just like this. Just go down the middle to cut off that paper. That one's gonna work. So then you have more of the wax of the crayon or the color that you choose. What I also found through some of my friends, so this is what you basically want, is just a crayon just like this, where you can shave, or what I've also found that works is putting them in a cupcake tin, breaking the colors that you want, and melting it in just like your toaster oven. And what I did is I set that at 350 and literally broke them up like this, threw them in the cup, and set them for 350 in the oven for 20 minutes, and then I let them cool. Once they get cooled, they're super, super easy, and they just come out just almost like a puck. So then I was like, well, how am I gonna shave it? I can use either my scissors, but what I did instead is I ended up using a cheese grater from my drawer, and also a potato peeler, carrot peeler, whatever you can find. Again, you don't have to use all these things, but these are things that have just made it a little easier for me. So this is what they look like, just a few tools to kind of create your look. What you're also gonna need is just a packet of like jumbo hair. I have a bunch of these downstairs, just in my storage. You can use human hair, you can use synthetic hair, you could use really whatever hair you have. So it doesn't matter, it could be from Sally's, it could be cheap, it can be expensive weft hair that you guys have used in extensions. So really, really simple. But what you're gonna do is, if you have cooking paper, you can use wax paper, you can use parchment paper. I love to cook cookies, so I always have parchment paper. So what you're gonna do is just create a small little square. Just like this. I have some hair paper. So just you're gonna create a little cute little square. Really, really simple. You are going to cut some hair off. It doesn't matter. You can see here, this is all just kind of different lengths. You're gonna cut some hair off, and I'll do that right now. So you'll cut some hair off. And Jeff, can you guys see my my table at all?
You might want to tilt the camera down.
Okay. My head's gonna get cut off just a little bit. I'm still here, y'all, but I'm just gonna tilt this down just a little bit so you guys can see. All right, that's a little bit better. I'm still here. So what you're gonna do is just take hair like this, and I just call Let It Snow. You know, you just wanna create some of the hair. You don't wanna have it like laying down horizontal or parallel. You kinda want it messy as much as possible. Then what you're gonna do is take your high impact hairspray. You could use this hairspray, you could use this hairspray. And if you don't have hairspray, and those educators that do have flip charts, if you have spray adhesive, this also will work as well. So for me, I love my high impact. I'm just gonna go spray. And again, this is all stuff that you should maybe have at home. If you don't, I know again, Amazon is still sending a few things out. It may take a little longer, but you guys can always come back to this video. And you know, once you have all the stuff you need, it's great. So I'm gonna take my iron. You can take a flat iron if you have a flat iron and you don't wanna ruin your iron. This one I have used for years. I'm just gonna go right on top of my other parchment paper, and I'm just gonna kind of melt the hair first. So what I'm doing is just kind of creating more of a sheet of hair right now.
So Dallan, do you want spaces between the hair when you spread it out?
Yeah, and I'll lift this up and I'll show you. So this is one that's already been pre-done already. You can kind of see that there's spaces, there's holy. It's kind of very avant-garde, kind of creepy looking. So then what you'll do is, once you have your sheet down of hair, it will look like this. This isn't all the way done yet. So you want a little bit of a structure and some shape that you want to be able to do to create. You are going to take any color crayon that you want. You can take a neon one. I'm actually going to take this yellow one with pink. So you can see here how it creates more of that marbly, condensy, cool kind of texture with this. So taking this, and again, it's up to you if you want to use your cheese grater, your potato peeler, or your scissors, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit of both. What this will do is I'm just literally creating flakes. This takes too long for me. I'm a little impatient, so I like to use my cheese grater. So you can see as I'm cheese grating on top of my hair.
What temperature did you have the iron on, Dallan?
So that is a really great question. You want it either on cotton or linen. If you do it any lower than that, your hair will not melt, and this will also not melt the crayons. So if you guys can see here, there's a little bit of flakes all over through here, so you can see what that cheese grater one looks like. And if I wanted to add a little bit more chunkiness, again, I'm just gonna take my potato peeler and create more chunks. Then, I'm gonna take back on my parchment paper, and you want to move, like if you're doing this on your countertop. I have a sheet on this because I don't want to ruin my table. The crayons, if they're around the edges, it will melt. It will come off on your countertops, but you just want to be a little careful. Take my iron again, and I'm just gonna go right on top. Gonna let it sit for about 10-15 seconds, and just pick it up and move it over. If you slide it, it will create more of an effect of like raindrops, which is kind of cool and different. So again, I'm just gonna pick it up, let it sit, let it cook.
Are you putting any pressure on that?
Nope.
Or are you just letting it?
Just letting it sit right on top. With the heat of the cotton and the linen, it's hot enough where it's gonna melt through without putting any pressure on that. So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna flip your hair over just like this. I slowly just run my hands through this. It's not hot enough where it's gonna burn me. It definitely is warm. But what this does is it kind of releases the melted crayon on the other side of the paper, so then it will seep through the other side. So that's a really important step that you wanna remember. So just creating these cool little pieces right now. Again, this is all done with crayons. I have also show you this one over here in a second, what I did with this one, because there are different techniques you can do with this.
Are there any other type of resources other than crayons that would give you a similar effect?
Yes, I do have a bag. So I played with these. I have a Mary Poppins bag. But these are really cool too. This is, you know the wax candles? These are wax candles for stamping, like when you send a letter and it's stamped with the wax. You can use these. I've also seen some of my friends use candles, which is really cool. They've just literally lit it up with a lighter and melted it on the hair. So that was a really cool thing. So the cool thing about this technique is you really can use almost whatever that's gonna create that color for you. So this is how easy it comes off. So really, really simple, really, really fun.
So let's make sure that we're clear to everybody. This would be done on not someone's real hair.
Yes, no one's real hair. No one's real hair. But you can see how cool it creates that really cool abstract art. Again, when you start molding and bending and really creating some cool shapes. So I'm gonna make one more of these real quick with you guys on the camera because I wanna show you what else I have done with these. So again, I just have a little piece already. I'm gonna add some more hair. And the cool thing is you can reuse these sheets probably up to like 3 or 4 times. Depending on, you know, how much crayon you're putting on. So again, we're gonna do this again. I'm gonna cut some hair. These scissors do not work very well. There we go. So I already have kind of a piece already and I'm just gonna make it a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna just let it snow, like Frozen.
I love that terminology. I mean, how much hair would be too much hair, Dallan? I mean, how do you know? Is there like a?
I personally, there is. If it's
paper?
almost like, yeah, I want it as thin as paper. If you do it thicker than like an inch, your hair in the side of your sandwich, so basically when you flip it, the top melts, the bottom melts. But if it's too thick, what's in the middle of the hair will not melt, so it will fall apart. So you want it thin enough where it's gonna kind of stick together and melt, like a sandwich, like a peanut butter jelly sandwich. But if you have too much peanut butter in the middle, you're gonna be doing this, trying to swallow, you're gonna need a glass of milk. And that's what's gonna happen, is it's gonna fall apart. So I always say, just let it snow, just like Frozen. I'm gonna go back in with my high impact hairspray so you guys can see this again. I'm just going to spray. And you want a pretty nice, generous spray. If you're creating a full piece, you'll probably go through a whole can of hairspray. So creating this.
There's a question. Did you use crayons to color the lady on the left or your lady on the right?
So my lady here, this one has been done with crayons. So you can see that. And this lady was done with the I'm gonna turn her sideways so you can see the hair. This lady was done with candle wax, and I'm gonna show you guys this too on that next piece, what this looks like. Because again, it's all about what you have at home and what you can do to create. So I'm gonna melt this first real quick. And then when you're doing this kind of technique with this part without the wax, you are gonna wanna slide and add a little bit of pressure because you want that heat in the middle to melt. So going over this a few times. So then what I'm gonna do again is I'm going to go back in with my cheese grater. Simple thing like this. My cute little pocket crayon that I made. And I'm gonna do more pink on this one. And that's what I like about putting these in the cupcakes, is because you can really kind of decide where you want to place that color. So I know that there's more pink on this side, more yellow on this. Because when you go back to this, you see more yellow. So I wanted to add a little bit more pink for the piece that I'm gonna create with you guys. So I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow on the outside, go back into pink.
Do you always want to melt the hair first before putting color from the crayon on it?
You can do either way. For me, what I have found easier is to make the hair paper first, then do the crayon. It gives it a little bit more flexibility. If you just do the hair, then the crayon, and then hairspray, it almost gets too stiff to bend, such as these ones. That's how I did it on these ones. You can really see like they are really, really hard to move. So with this, doing it this method way, you can see that it's more bendable depending on what you're doing and creating. Great question. So again, placing on my paper, my parchment cooking paper. You can use wax paper. I've also seen people use newspapers before. The cool thing with that is sometimes if you press a little too hard or add too much heat, you will get a little bit of a news article on your hair, which if that's the look you're going for, that's kind of cool. So again, just placing, melting in that crayon into the hair paper with the hairspray. I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna release that just a little bit because again, if you don't, it'll get a little too stiff and it won't let the other crayon melt through the other side. Then back in. Go ahead.
I'm gonna ask you a question. So how did you discover this concept? I'm curious for myself.
To discover this concept, my brain is always going 25,000 miles an hour. I always try to figure out how I can create hair. Me and Kristen did this a while back when we were looking into doing some avant-garde work for a Naha shoot. And at that time, I just didn't have it down, so I had to really perfect it and figure out exactly how this was going to work. But where I got inspired was definitely from Kandinsky, the artist, is how his work looks so abstract. And what I wanted to do is create that same thing in hair. So I literally tried candles, I tried those little wax, these things before. I've used crayons, but I've just left them in their original state of form and kind of shaded and actually put one in the middle and melted it. But then it just melted a hole in it. So really just for me, coming up with this concept and idea was really just finding inspiration in what I had around the house. I don't think a lot of people realize that when you're doing a collection, it doesn't have to be over the top and crazy. It can just be some simple things that are in your household. I have a box downstairs. It's called my Mary Poppins box, and I have everything: paint, crayons, wax, anything I can get my hands on, and really just going to Hobby Lobby and just really seeing I love Hobby Lobby. Here's this again, guys. You can see this, how this really makes a cool square shape. So now creating really cool texture and deciding what you want to do. So yeah, does that answer your question, Jess?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So to create from here, and what you can do is, I don't know if Alicia or Bella's watching or not, because I asked her to bring me things a while back into the editorial remix, was egg cartons. Because she's like, why do you need egg cartons? We never ended up using it, so I'm going to use them today to show you what I do to create some structure. So this is just my simple normal mannequin. I put a wig cap on her. You can see this here. Let's pull some hair back. But I'm going to use these with these. So you guys are going to laugh. This is an egg carton. I cut it up. And this is what I'm going to use for my structure. Okay? So what I'm going to do before I place my hair is I'm just going to kind of create a shape. What I like about using cardboard or chicken wire or these egg cartons is you really can start creating shapes around to make it really cool and avant-garde. Again, it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be simple and easy. But all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to my 4 corners right around this, use my hot glue gun, and I'm just going to place a shape right here in the front to glue that on. Take my next one. So this is half a dozen egg cartons cut up. So just taking your corners of where the egg has sat in. It doesn't need to be pretty because again, you're going to cover this. And I'm just going to place this right here. So gluing these on, again, it's just using stuff that you have in your house. Egg cartons are great. Again, like I said, they really can build. You can get some pointier ones if you want. Like taking off the corners, if you wanted to get more of a pointier, just taking off these corners and pushing this in will give you a tighter shape. But you guys can start to see how this creates a shape, and see how I can just kind of push that down and glue that in there and make this one smaller around the hairline. Yeah.
Couple for you.
Yeah.
Would crayons be the best way to reinforce a hair paper that you want super thin and wispy?
Yes. I do have some pieces that I've been working on since been doing this. It definitely helps instead of using a lot of hairspray and also using either spray adhesive. Sometimes spray adhesive can get really messy and kind of disgusting, to be honest. So yes, the crayon definitely helps create that structure. Beautiful question. Is there another one?
No, it was a comment.
Oh,
They
okay.
were talking about glue guns, sparkle glue.
Yeah, sparkle glue would be really, really cool. I did look for, when I went to Walmart to get some groceries, I did look for glow-in-the-dark glue sticks. And also they have wax glitter, what you guys were talking about. And they were out of them. So I was going to pick those up because I thought that'd be kind of cool. But they did not have them. I don't know if you guys been to any Walmarts lately, but a lot of the craft stuff with these kids out of school, their moms have gone crazy. So you can start to see how I'm creating a cool kind of shape with this, as you can see. I'm gonna go back in.
Where did you find the wig cap down?
In my Amazon link that in my last video, that's where I get them. And do you guys want to see what they look like, the brand? I can grab one real quick. Hold on.
That'd be great.
So here's the wig caps. Oh, it's upside down. Here's your wig caps right here, which is kind of cool. They do come in 2 pieces, so you can get 2 in 1. For this whole pack, I believe it was like $7 off of Amazon. So for 20 wig caps times 2, which is 40, it's a pretty good deal. So I'm gonna glue this last one, and then we'll start gluing some of this hair paper on here. And then we'll move on to the next one, because the next one's kind of cool too.
So when you're making the hair paper with the crayons, do
Yeah.
you prefer to use a hairspray over the spray adhesive, or which one?
Lately I have, because I have been at home. If I was more at a salon environment or a place where I could clean up a little bit more instead of having spray glue everywhere, I would definitely be using more hairspray because it's easier to clean up. So I've created kind of just a cool shape. Maybe I should glue one more right here. Give me 1 second. I didn't see that little hole right there.
Also, what a great way to recycle.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is I think sometimes we, as hairdressers, and you know, when you look at people's avant-garde work, you're like, where the hell and how the heck did they do all that? It literally comes down to just what is in your house, what you have. I literally try to find structure in everything I can. Sometimes I use chicken wire. If I use chicken wire, I look like I've been scratched up by a chicken, literally, because there's wire everywhere. See, that looks better. So I've created my shape just using egg cartons and a wig cap. Now this is the fun part where I can go in and start placing my hair where I want it to be to create that shape. And this is the fun part where you can go in and cut hair. So what I like about using these crayons is you don't get it flaky everywhere. It still keeps that, you can create the shapes that you want. Doesn't have to be perfect, but for this, I'm just gonna start gluing this in. So just using a regular glue gun, I'm just gonna kind of go around my egg carton with hot glue. And I'm just gonna slowly start placing in with my fingers and pushing around the shape that I wanna create. So pushing this down. Going in there. Let me turn her around. So I'm gonna glue again on this side over here. Let me turn her around so I can do this. So it's almost kind of like arts and crafts, I feel like. You know, that's the way I look at avant-garde, is how you can really create some different cool kind of shapes and textures by using, you know, things that you have at home where you don't have to go out and spend $1 million to create a $10,000 collection when you can really do it for pennies. So I'm gonna start, you can start to see how it starts to form some cool shapes. So let me finish this one up. And again, if I had a mirror, I'd be looking at my mirror and checking my balance, but my phone is my mirror today.
It's very cool, Dallan.
It's cool, huh? It's different.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the cool, like you said, like it's really, you know, inspiring to find other things and what, you know, thinking about what you can do and what you can create, especially during this time where we don't really know what's going on, but we do. I have been trying to find things to keep myself occupied. I am definitely a people person, if you know my personality, so not be able to see my friends and be able to do things on the regular has been really hard for me. So my wife...
Well, this just sparks a great thing, too. I mean, would you ever make pieces like this that could be just put in for, like, wedding or, I don't know, Kentucky Derby or...
Yeah, why not? Why not? Like,
Yeah.
we are hairdressers and we can set the, you know, the trends. We can set what's happening in the world. So yeah, using these things and like for weddings and, you know, God forbid if you didn't do, you know, a wedding trial prior before your wedding and you're like, I need to create volume and height. Egg cartons, you could use a paper towel, you could use tissue paper from the gift that they got from their husband before they walked down the aisle. Like, there are so many different things you can do and you create. But look how cool this is starting to look.
Yeah.
So just covering a simple egg carton, which is this shape, and then using your hair paper to cover it. And, you know, if you really look to this side here, you can really start to see those shapes, which is really cool. Do you guys like it?
They love it.
Good. So let me hurry and just finish this real quick. And then we'll go on to the next.
Could you do the same type of concept and maybe put the egg cartons on a headband and then put the hair on it so it just was like a...
It's funny that you say that. There is a photo, a collection that I did, and I put egg cartons on a headband because the model's head I made, the piece was too big. So I had to rip it off, glue it onto a headband, and I put it on the headband, and it worked. That's funny.
We share a brain.
We share a brain. So let me glue these last ones real quick here, and then I'm gonna finish it off for you guys.
Are you using synthetic hair or real hair?
So this is synthetic jumbo hair. You can, this one right here is human hair, so you can do the same thing on human. I will show you that technique. I'll light up a lighter and I'll show you how I did this one once I get this all done. And then what I'm gonna do is just glue this last piece, kind of fun and crazy for y'all. Actually, I'm just gonna T-pin it. So you guys can see how cool this could be. If I was shooting it, obviously from high, I wouldn't do the whole thing. I would do like half to here and create a really cool shape. Maybe even add some length down here, you know, by gluing some of this down this way if I wanted. But again, it just comes down to simple little things, crayons, egg cartons, and it really cool creates a really cool kind of, you know, shape and texture. So let me show you guys how I did this one. Any questions on this before I put her away?
Nope, not right now.
Okay, so let me just put this on the ground. Give me 1 second. We're gonna go on to the next. So for this one, she's kind of tall. Sorry, my bad. I will get this closer. But what I did with this one is I took actually just a lighter, and you can really see how the hair is. You know, this is human hair, so it looks a little bit more realistic. And the drops on this is really, really cool. But how I did this one, and again, you could do this any way you wanted. But what I have done is taken just the, you know, the wax stick that we talked about earlier and just lighting her up. They do come with the wick. So I'm just gonna let her light for a second. Kind of create like a build up. And then what I'm gonna do is, I don't know if you guys can see. Can you see here? Where am I at? Right there? I'm just gonna drop. It's almost just like doing teardrops on this. You do have to be a little bit more careful doing this technique because of the lighter. This will drip and get everywhere. If you get too close to this, it will melt the hair and catch on fire. This definitely happened to me twice already, so I've learned the hard way. But again, I'll come a little closer so you guys can see all I'm doing. Oh, I just let her out. Let me stand up so you guys can see. Just letting this burn a little bit. And then just start dripping where you want to place it, where you want to create some cool... See how that almost just caught on fire? So again, it just depends on the look you want to do and what you want to create. What I like about this one is it almost looks like raindrops on the hair. which is really, really cool. So there's that technique. So again, depending on what you want to do and where you want to create. This is also hair paper that I created that you guys can see. If you look really close, that is crayon dripped on it as well. So I'll show you how I did this one real quick so you can see this. So all I'm gonna do.
What was the base that you used for this one, Dallan?
For this one or this one?
The wax dripping one.
Oh, the base, what the crayon I use this. So you can get them in a 3-pack. You can also get them like in different colors if you want. They do have like a 12-pack of the rainbow if you want. So this is hair paper, kind of the same thing. I've already kind of created my shape by taking my iron, if you can really see how it's crinked up. I was taking my iron and just pushing this and making it more into a different shape so I can create something cool and fun. So what you're gonna do to do this one, to create this look, I'm just gonna flip it over so you guys can see. But it's just parchment paper. Again, you're gonna wanna lay something down because the crayon will melt through the hair paper. But we're gonna use green.
Did you use egg cartons on this one too, or are you going to show us how you set that one?
I'll show you how I set this one.
Okay.
So, taking your crayon, getting off all your paper, because if you don't, again, this will light up. So I don't know if you guys back here is better, probably. I can see the comments on the bottom of my thing, so it's like throws me off a little bit. So,
I gotcha.
All you're gonna do is take your crayon, you're gonna light her up, and then what you're gonna wanna do, this one is just hold this over the paper, and you'll see how it starts to drip. And where you wanna place your color is where you're moving your crayon. So you can see how it's starting to melt the crayon. And I'm just gonna go around my hair. And let's add a different color. What color do you guys want me to add? I have pink, yellow, purple, blue, orange. Purple?
No.
We'll do purple. It's a neon purple. So again, the cool thing about these neons, last night I tried it I have a black light downstairs in my little hair lab area, and these crayons glow in the dark. So think of a cool collection that you could do with something like that, you know what I mean? Like using crayons to create a cool look, but also pushing that look by using a black light.
So John would like to know if you have a fire extinguisher.
I probably should, but I don't. That's why I usually do this kind of stuff at the salon, because I do. See how that light's on fire?
Oh my gosh. At least put a cup of water by you, please.
I have my little container here. Then I think I might just add a little bit of yellow. But again, this is just a crayon, me using a lighter, this is my barbecue lighter that I use to light my barbecue.
On hair with paint.
Say again?
I think we should do a segment on how to create hair with a paintball gun.
Girl, don't even get me started on that. That'd be fun. Take out all your frustration on the paint gun with this quarantine. That'd be fun. So I'm gonna take my last color, so you can pick, you know, how many colors you want. You can do as much as you want. You can do as little as you want. The cool thing about doing 3 or 4 different colors, you guys obviously want to think of like complementary colors. What makes green? What makes yellow? Or I mean, what makes green? What makes purple? Using that's always something in the back of my head too, when doing stuff like this. So I'm just gonna put some yellow. I have used a torch before, and I don't recommend a torch. So a lighter has been the easiest way to do this. You have a little bit more control. So adding this color on here, just like this. But what I'll do is leave like this last part that's a little bit of warm. What I can do is just go right on my edges. And I can start to add depth with it. I can go back in, light this up just a little bit. Go right on top of those edges.
Down for 20 minutes.
Perfect. Will give me enough time to do my last one. So using, you know, just creating cool, you know, you gotta think about it like hair color. Like, where do you wanna see color? Where do you wanna place it? You become the artist. I think that's why I love avant-garde work so much, is because anything can really go. Some people might like it, some people may not. But again, I think avant-garde is art. And to me, to be able to share art and be able to create some cool things is where my heart lives. I had a great conversation. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you ever use spray hair color or actual paint?
Yes. I have used actual hair color, or I mean paint. What I found with paint in the hair, it would have to be more on something like this, and you have to create your shape first, because once that paint hardens, if it's spray paint, it flakes tremendously. If it's acrylic paint, it chips off. So depending on, like if I was gonna do paint on a live person, what I would do is create my structure in the chair, put them in front of the camera, and then flick my paint wherever I can, because if you take it off, you know, a mannequin head and throw it on, you lose all that work. So doing it more on a live person definitely works a little bit easier. Just add a little bit more green, and then I'll show you what this looks like close.
How long does it take to like dry and cool instead?
This or crayons?
What you're doing right, yeah, the crayon.
Oh, it's done.
What you're doing right now.
It's dried. It's already dried. But look at the cool, like throwing on neon drops and then really outlining your crevices and your little shapes. So how I did this is this was just a normal, if you guys saw earlier, it was just a normal hair sheet of paper. And what I've done is I've pulled it up and I've taken my flat iron and just gone in and let it sit like this to create those ridges that you see here. So then once this is all done, you know, taking this mannequin off, here's my mannequin.
I have a question. It says, can you please explain what the base is you're working on now?
This is hair paper. This is my hair paper base. So basically what it is this jumbo hair. Cut out, let it snow. This one was done with spray adhesive. So I, you know, laid out my hair, sprayed my thing, used my iron to heat it up. So I heated this up. It came out one sheet of paper. Then what I did to create the shape is I gathered it up like if I was picking up my sheets or my blankets, and I just went in with my flat iron and clamped down and let it kind of almost burn, and then I go into the next shape and I just slowly started twisting to create those ridges. So this is just hair paper, really, really simple. So you can see, if I just do something like this, I'm just gonna use T-pins to hold this so you guys can see the other one that I'm gonna do. You can really create a cool, fun shape. You know, shooting it like this. This. Obviously not the back. But again, how I would attach this to a model's head is I would cornrow the hair and sew this in like if I was just doing extensions. But instead of just using extension string, I would use fishing string. So you don't see the clearness. So again, just keeping this in my little toolbox that I have. This is part of my hair kit. But pretty cool, right?
Very cool.
All done with hair paper and crayons. So my last one I want to show you before we let you all go and tell you guys our announcement is this one. This is really, really, really fun. This was a challenge that I was nominated by Keith to do. All this one is let me take this one off again so you guys can see how I build this. Take these off. These are kitchen scrubbies. Really simple and easy. What you can do with these, for a pack of 3 at the dollar store, they're $1 clearly, or Walmart has the more coppery fun ones. But what I did here is just unrolled. And all I'm going to do is start stretching this out and really creating shapes. And movement with these. So, you know, creating something like this, you want to stretch them and break them apart. So there's one. Again, just unroll, unravel. You know, you can create some length. These are really great for foundations as well. You know, they're almost like the hair donuts. So using these as a foundation for height or creating, you know, shapes, you can definitely use those as well. But again, going in, breaking these up. And I use about 4 to 5 of these to create something like this.
Everyone's wondering, how did you ever come up with this idea?
These ones? I had this idea a while back, but just recently my friend Keith did a challenge with these, and I pushed it a little further than what I've done in the past. But the first time I ever thought about doing something like this is in the back of my salon. There's a dispensary. I was talking to my stylist, Lemon, Sam Lemon, if you guys don't know her. Her name is Cosmo Lemon on Instagram. She's amazing. She's like, you should create a hairpiece out of that, because it came unraveled. And I was like, oh my God, that'd be so cool. So I went and grabbed a mannequin and started playing around with, you know, this copper mesh. The cool thing about this is I've seen other people do this too, and I've cornrowed this braid and I use it as ornamentation. So taking the copper wire and cutting it in half and using it and wrapping it around the ponytail or the braid. But imagine like how cool that would be for, you know, an event that you're doing, or like a Christmas event that's coming up, or New Year's. But just using this more as ornamentation and then wrapping both these braids. If I had more time, I would do it, but I don't. But this is just literally cut in half, sewn with fishing string around the braid. But you can see how cool that is. So again, just using things like that at home that you have in your kitchen, in your garage, whatever.
That reminds me of Avatar.
Yeah, it's very, definitely. And all I did for this one is I loved the copper on it, but I wanted to do a little bit more, and my wife was like, you should have glitter around the edges and make it look like coral. And I was like, oh my God. So I spent about 2 hours putting glitter on these edges. But it was so cool and so like rewarding, and such a cool feeling to be like, wow, like there are things here. Because, you know, for me, my thing is like trying to figure out how do I keep my mind, you know, occupied and not depressed and sad that I can't see my friends or do hair or things that I love to do. So, you know, finding things around the house where I don't have to go out and spend a lot of money to do these things is where it's more about what do I have and what options do I have to use here inside the house. So here's my little mannequin, and all I'm gonna do is start placing where I would wanna see shape. Now, one of the cool things about doing this technique with these is they do come in different colors. I did see them at Walmart in like black, like a charcoal. I think this would be such a cool idea to see someone do this, like finger waves. Imagine finger waves with this cool technique. But all I'm doing is just going in and placing. Let me bring this back just a little bit so I can see. And all I'm using right now is T-pins, but if I was going to be doing this on a model, I'd be using more fishing string and a needle and thread, cornrowing her hair first. But again, you can go back in and like recreate the shape that you want. If you don't like that there, you know, you can bring it back, move it around. Let's bring it up just a little bit so it gives it a little bit more movement.
Yeah, Jazz mentioned she's done something like this with a loofah.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Send me a picture.
I know, right?
So you guys can see how I'm just kind of creating a little bit. See how this is almost like a finger wave already? So I'm just trying to figure out how to place that. Let me just turn this around real quick. Sorry, y'all. Just so I can make sure this looks good for you. So you can start to see how that looks like more like a finger wave on that hair. I'm gonna pull this back. So you can see why you need 3 to 4 of these to kind of create the shape. Obviously, if you're gonna cut these in half, you can. The only thing I would recommend is if you're gonna cut these outside in the garage. These little, I don't even know what this is, copper wire stuff. These will break in half and they will get like little hair slivers, so be careful with that. All right, let's see, let's finish this. Jess, what's my time?
You have 7 minutes.
Perfect. Enough time to explain our contest.
Yep. Can you explain what that material is one more time? Can you show the package?
Yeah. So all it is just your little scrubbies, copper scrubbies. They look like this. Get them at Walmart. You can get them on Amazon in different colors, but all it is just, you know, cleaning your dishes. It's really fun and different.
Awesome.
So you guys can see how this kind of creates a cool, fun shape. And if I had more time, I would add glitter to this just to really show the edges. Because sometimes I feel like when you look up close, you could just think, oh, what is that? But when you're putting it up close this way and you can see the edges with glitter, it kind of shows it and gives it a little bit more detail. So again, I use blue because I was thinking of a color wheel, what was going to be my complementary color and using. So thinking that in your head, you're not only just thinking about avant-garde, but thinking about color placement, thinking about what is going to look good on camera to create those cool kind of shapes. So this is a great, cool thing. If you want to see more different shapes of these, you can check out my friend's page. His name is Keith Bryce. He came up with this kind of cool texture, even more different shapes like this. So you check him out, he's great. But that's what I have for you guys today. But I also have a really special announcement that I'm really, really excited to share with you. I talked to Jessica yesterday and was like, how can we get people excited and get people involved? And so what we decided to do, which I'm really excited to share with you guys, is we are running a contest. That contest starts from today till the 24th next Saturday. what we want to see from you guys is we want you guys to create some cool things, avant-garde work. You can use copper, you can use crayons, whatever you have, whatever you want to create, this is your time to create. But there is going to be one lucky winner, and that lucky winner is going to win a free class at the Academy for next year, or using it this year as well. So we're super excited. I will be posting on my Instagram. I know also Jessica said as soon as we get off this phone call, Bang Style will be helping us run this contest. There will be a hashtag that you'll have to use. My phone is being used right now with all my notes. So do you know what that hashtag is, Jessica? I'll put this up to the speaker.
Yeah, it's hashtag Kuhn Quarantine EDU.
Did you guys get that? Can you say it one more time?
Oh, it's hashtag Kuhn Quarantine EDU.
So using that hashtag so we can find you guys, we are excited to share that with you. So please look at our posts, check out us on Instagram. I want to say thank you so much, guys. I know that we are in this weird, crazy time, but this is an opportunity for you guys to create, love what you do, and be able to share it with us. So I know that you have to tag myself, Bang Style, Kuhn North America, so we can find you. So have fun creating. Please be safe wherever you're at. And remember, we're here for you. And aloha. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.
Yay.
How do I end this?